it's worth it. It's worth it. And when you save a life and you see these dogs go to a good home. I took in a little puppy a couple of weeks ago. Somebody brought it into one of the vets that I use, and 2 of my volunteers worked there. And they called me up. They said, I know we're full, but can we take in this little puppy? I said, if you guys want to foster it, I could take it in. I said, what happened? Little 8-week-old pit bull puppy. Somebody kicked it in the head. They kicked it in the head so hard that it broke its head open, and the dog had brain damage. He couldn't see, couldn't hear, and he walked in circles. But the bad part is they damaged his brain so badly that he couldn't regulate his body temperature. It would go up, it would come down, it would go up, it would come down. We fought with him for 2 weeks. The other night at 1 o'clock in the morning, we had to put him down, you know. And I was upset about it, you know. I shed a few tears for it. And I tell you, when I was growing up, you never cried. You know, tough guys don't cry. I've shed more tears in the last 4 years over an animal than, you know, animals that I just meet. It's funny, it's like I can meet a dog and the dog's in need and I want to help it so badly, and it's like you see a human in need, I could just walk on by. You know, animals don't lie to you. They tell you exactly how it is. And I think that once you've learned the love of an animal, you'll understand. And you know, I think that's the problem, is people don't get the opportunity, don't give themselves the opportunity to learn the love of a pit bull or learn the love of an animal. To them, it's just a dog. Well, to me, that dog is my family, you know? If I could give my kidney to save a dog, I would, you know? I mean, look at that dog. That dog does not want to get off of him. How long have you had that dog? 2 weeks? Yeah, you ever see a girl that you know for 2 weeks love you like that? No, man. No. Yeah, she'll love you like that as long as she's in your pocket. No offense, ladies. No, but, you know, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and like what I see a lot is guys get mad, you know, like they'll love an animal, but they don't want anybody to see them do it. They think it makes them soft. No, man. Like I said, it's a lot harder to do the right thing sometimes than it is to do the wrong thing. And believe me, I have it tattooed on my hands. It says integrity and commitment. And every once in a while, I got to look down and remind myself. You know, like with that puppy, my father said, he goes, wouldn't you like to catch the guy that kicked that puppy? And I said, no, Dad. I said, I really don't, because then it would just interrupt what I'm looking to do, because I'll end up in jail. You know, sometimes you have to look past it. You have to, like, I don't focus on the, you all right in there? Sometimes you have to look past, like I went to a trailer home the other day, white family, 15 people living in the trailer, dogs are covered in fleas, babies are filthy, and the guy's drunk. He's sitting there, and I'm watching the guy pull the dog around and by the neck, a little puppy. I'm like, no, you don't have to do that, man. And I said, you know, we can just coax him easy. And I try to teach him. I know if I go there and I take his dog away from him, and I could, I mean, I can go over there, I can call animal control and I can take his dog from him, or I can go over there and get into a physical altercation with him. You know, people think that when I go into rougher neighborhoods that I intimidate people. They think that I go over there and that I physically put my hands on people and I get into confrontations. That's not what I do. My appearance gets me into places. I don't have a fear of any person. I tell people if it walks on 2 legs, I'm not afraid of it. If it walks on 4, chances are I'm probably friends with it, you know? So like my look gets me into, and I guess my attitude gets me into places, and it gets me to the ability to talk to somebody. But what I do is, just like I'm talking to you guys, I talk to people. I don't want to take the guy's dog from him, because number one, I don't have the room for it. And number 2, if I take his dog, he's just going to put another dog there the next day. And then what did I do? Nothing. I just put another dog in a bad situation. And the cycle will keep happening. So it's a lot easier for me to try to teach somebody, you know, young and old. Everybody's stupid, you know, when it comes to animals. They don't have the right mentality, but you have to teach them. So what I did was, I don't like what goes on. I live in Paulding County, Georgia. It's about like an hour outside of here. And Out there, people, the mentality is these dogs are like, they treat them like farm animals. They stay outside, they run the streets, they don't give them shots, they don't give them flea medication. And so I try to educate them. So what I did was, I put on a program, we called it Beat the Heat. The reason why we call it Beat the Heat is when the dog goes into cycle, when she gets a period, they call it a heat. And I don't know if anybody ever explained to you how dogs give birth. I mean, you know the action, they hump just like we do, but 61 days basically is their cycle, and they drop puppies. So you have a female pit. I've had litters up to 16, but the average is about 10. So at 7 months old, around 7 months old, they go into heat. That's usually when they come into sexual maturity where they could start to have puppies. So basically 2 months later, at 9 months, they can give birth. So you have two dogs, you have a male and you have a female, 7 months old. Now they're 9 months, now you have a litter of 10 puppies, right? 7 months, they start having puppies. And they can each have a litter of 10. So we'll just use 10 because it's easy. You start adding it up and adding it up. Basically in 7 years, one female dog, I think it's 67,000 dogs it could lead to. So see the importance of spaying and neutering your animal? So what I did in my county, where I live, and it crosses all racial barriers. White, black, rich, poor, Chinese, Spanish. People don't take care of their animals. It doesn't make a difference. So I don't judge them, I don't say anything. I put on a program. I had 4 of my vets that I use volunteer. I had 75 people volunteer that day, and we held this thing called Beat the Heat. People came out with their dogs and their cats. We gave them free shots for their dogs, for their cats, rabies shots. We signed them up for free spay and neuter. We did it twice in 1 year. We fixed over 1,000 animals. So how many lives did I save? All right? And people were coming up to the vet's office. I paid for their surgeries for their animals. They pull up in brand new BMWs. They probably could have afforded it. But you know what? Just because you have money in your pocket doesn't mean you have a brain in your head. And that also doesn't mean that you understand the problem. So, you know, it doesn't matter how much money you have in your pocket. That doesn't make you a man. It doesn't matter what kind of job you have. It doesn't matter about the gold chain on your neck. You know, like I said, my jewelry is 20 years old. You know, I'll never buy another piece of jewelry in my life. And if you turned to me and said, hey, you know, that dog needs surgery and I didn't have it, I'd pawn this in a heartbeat. It means nothing. That means something to me. You know, a couple months ago, I got a phone call about a dog that was dumped in a pound. The dog was dumped in DeKalb County. It was a 9-year-old pit bull, and it came with a letter. I should have brought the letter with me. Basically, the family who had the dog said her name was Nietzsche. She's 9 years old. She's really sick, and they didn't have the money to take care of her. They're like, please don't put my dog to sleep. And they brought it to a vet's office and left it there. So of course, the vet didn't care. So the vet called animal control, and they came and they took this dog. So animal control called me, and they said, this dog's in really bad shape. Can you come get it? So I said, they showed me the letter and everything like that, and I said, it was eating at my heartstrings, and I didn't have room, and I said, you know, all right, it was a Sunday. So I sent one of my volunteers there. She called me up and she says, I can't even pick this dog up, it can't walk. I said, get it to the emergency hospital. So we spent $900 on the dog at the emergency hospital trying to get her right, getting medication into her. Kidneys started failing, everything started shutting down. So the dog was alive for maybe 10 hours more from when I picked her up. And then I put her to sleep. I had to put her to sleep. I came into Atlanta that night. I never met the dog, but I cried like a baby. And I sat there with her and I loved on her and I put her to sleep. And somebody said to me, they said, you know, you wasted $1,000 on that dog. They said, you could have saved all these beautiful dogs that are in the pound. And I said, no. I said, you got it wrong. I said, I did save that dog. I saved that dog from dying alone in the pound. I said, at least it died with 2 people loving the dog. And you know what? Maybe it wasn't financially the wisest decision, but for me, it was a good decision. It's $1,000. $1,000 that dog didn't die alone. I slept a lot better that night, knowing that dog didn't die on a cold floor. So those are the things that I deal with, you know, on a daily basis. I become real popular. I get about 1,400 emails a day. I'm speaking to you guys today, and then I have to go speak to an elementary class, I think on Friday or Monday of next week. I mean, you guys got a head start. You guys are learning what it's about. Carry it with you. You're learning something. You're going to learn how to train a dog. You guys got some good trainers here. You have the opportunity to learn from a lot of people. And my advice to you is also, you can learn from dog trainers, that's great. The best thing to learn from is your dogs. Watch your dogs, you'll learn their behavior. They're so smart. They're so in tune with you. They know your every move, man. Like if I go home and I don't feel good, my dogs know it. If I'm tired, they know it. If I'm in a good mood, they know it. If I'm in a bad mood, they know it, and they react to it. My experience with them, I'm not a dog trainer, but I play one on TV. No. But people say, oh, you have a gift with dogs. I don't have a gift with dogs. I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid to touch them. I'm not afraid, I don't hesitate. My thing, but I've learned a lot from my dogs. Like I'll sit in my yard sometimes and watch my dogs play. Like I have dogs that people have given me, they tell me, oh, they're dog aggressive, they fight, they kill other dogs, and this, that. I get them to my house and slowly introduce them to other animals, and they behave differently. Like I know my wife's dogs, we live in separate houses. My wife's dogs, they don't listen to her, they run all over her. I walk in the house, Daddy, you know, they're like totally different dogs. I never laid my hands on them. I've never hit a dog. You don't need to. You don't need to choke a dog. You don't need to beat on a dog. You don't want a dog to fear you. You want a dog to respect you, you know? And I think that's the other problem, is that people are under this impression. I was down here one night in the West End. I was over by Morehouse. I stopped in the gas station. It was late at night. There was a guy over there. I don't know if he's still there, but he was an OG, you know? And he had a German Shepherd out there with a big spike collar on, and he's sitting there, and the dog's walking, and every time he'd stop, he'd yank that chain up, put those prongs into that dog's neck, and I stopped him. I said, hey man, you don't have to do that. And he's like, you don't tell me what to do. I'm like, you don't need to do that, man. You can get the same results with a slip lead. And he's like, nah man, this is how I train my dog. And he goes, I want him to be vicious. And I was like, okay man, you know, you don't need to do that. I tell you something, my dogs are the nicest dogs in the world. Come to my house with bad intentions, they change, man. They protect you naturally. You know, my friend had a little dog that he rescued from the pound, a little white pit bull. And the dog was shy, it was timid, it was like scared of everything. One day somebody went to break into his house, and you know the side lights on the door? They punched in the side light and they tried to open his door, you know, to get it locked. Yeah, dog chomped down on his hand and wouldn't let go. They found the guy passed out outside the house and arrested him. The dog wouldn't let him go. So they do things naturally, man. They're good animals. But yeah, that's a little bit about what I do.